Hey, good Tuesday evening to you. How's it going, everybody? It's good to see you, and it is good to be seen by you. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic Tuesday, or the best you can have. Tuesday, let's face it, on the tier list, Tuesday is pretty mid. All right, Tuesday's doing like a C, and that's only because it's not Monday. But I hope you're all doing all right. I, of course, who am I to rate the days like that? I'm Bill Sylvie, a.k.a. The Dungeon Delver. That's right, delving dungeons since 1981. And I hope you guys are having an absolutely great night tonight. So we've got a little bit of preamble, ramble, little bit of chat, little bit of talk. And then at 9 o'clock, we're going to play some first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, my Uncle Brat says he'll keep his yap open. Thank you, Uncle Brat. I was just kidding. Luther said t-shirt idea, not upper shut up. And then I said, no, super chat or shut your yap. And I guess Uncle Brat wants to keep his yap open. So thank you very much for the super. A fine way to start the evening this Tuesday evening. Thank you. I shall hoist a glass and salute you at Gary Con, Uncle Brat. That was very nice. Who goes to a bar on Tuesday? Not many. Delver, however. Delver? I hardly knew her. But anyhow, I hope you're having just a splendiferous night. And an interesting meeting coming up tomorrow. Not live stream, not video that I'm recording, but I'm actually sitting with some folks who want to pitch something to me because they want to come on the live stream, and I'm going to determine suitability. They seem to have kind of a big thing going, kind of a big project going, an RPG related project. That's all I'm going to say about it right now. But they reached out to me and said, hey, we're kind of doing this thing. Maybe you'd be interested in having us on. And I said, well, I'll have to sit and talk to you. I'm going to play 20 questions with you. So that's interesting. And it's, that is like the first capital C company, that has really reached out to me to do that kind of thing. And I'm sort of excited and enthused about it, and nervous, and I don't know. We'll have to see. But I don't want to give anything away yet, because we may come to an agreement that, like, hey, my little tiny 4,250 person audience is not really, that's not, what you guys like. It's not an avenue that would work for you guys. And they'll go, yeah, no, it's not an avenue that would work for us. Or I may go, this, I don't think my crowd would like that. And they may say they probably wouldn't. Or, I could talk to them and be like, whoa, this is the best thing since sliced bread. So we're going to find out tomorrow when we have our confab, when we sit down and have the Zoom meeting. I think that's what you call it. You call it the Zoom meeting, the TikTok, the Zoom meeting, the live chat. I'll talk to them, and we'll see how it works out. As long as it's not associated with WotC. So let me tell you something. First of all, I don't think anyone from WotC would ever reach out to this show, ever, unless it was someone on the inside who is exceedingly displeased with him and wanted to just spill all the nasty details, right? I don't think Wizards of the Coast would ever reach out to me, but there are some powers that be at WotC that if they reached out to me and said, hey, we'd like to come on your show and say our piece, I would listen to them and I would decide whether or not that would be a good thing. I wouldn't give them the show. I wouldn't turn the mic over. I wouldn't soft pedal them. I would not have them on the show and but well, that's fascinating. Now go on. No, I'd ask them all the hard questions, and I would hope you guys in the audience would be hitting the chat questions there and really, take them to task. Really seriously take them to task. Because I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna run a corporate sounding board where just anybody can roll in with an idea. It's got to fit. The animator I had on a few months ago, his stuff kind of had a classic D&D vibe to it, so I had him on. So it fit slightly. Of course, Heidi Gygax and her husband, but it's got to fit, right? I get news leaks in not leaks, not like if I was getting like honest to God leaks, I would spin off a separate channel to talk about Magic the Gathering if I was getting Magic the Gathering leaks. But like I see news articles about, this is going on in Magic the Gathering land. I'm like, but that's not what we do. We don't talk about, look, I heart Greyhawk, and I don't want to look in the rear view mirror and see you guys standing by the road going, well, bye. And in 6 months, I'm just I've got 10 times the number of subs, and I can actually call this more than just, gas money and, hey, I needed a gallon of milk level of income. I'm not going to just leave you guys behind. Do I take bribes to play for one night? The only way to reach out to the show is via a lawyer. Yeah, I would think you're right. Deep dive and live craft making idea, kidnapping of Princess Arlena. Is that the module that came with the punch out paper craft miniatures and terrain? You'll have to tell me. Do I take bribes to play for one night? At Road March, if you're asking, do you have to pay to play? No, you don't. If you're asking me for me to DM a game for one night for like an event, yes, that's yes. You'll pay me in fresh eggs. I should take bribes to be. That's not bribes. That's pay. That's hella Skrilla. I take payments. I have a whole system in place set up with Square, so you can use your tarjeta del credito and pay me that way. Light main greetings. Oh no, it's fine. Road March. No, it's fine. I gotcha. The best of the chat versus WotC's best Rumble, like on Ron Burgundy. Let's do it. That'd be fun. That escalated quickly. Wow. Do we eat brisket in Florida? Hell yes. DMing for my own brisket. I don't know. I think you would probably prefer to pay me in American money anyway, Road March, if you were going to do that, right? I mean, the continued devaluing of the American dollar versus spending money on eggs, which continue to get more expensive. Someone asked Kyle why WotC hasn't added a clause to make OGL 1.8 irrevocable. I do too, to be honest. I sat through Bob the World Builder's summary video and I'm like, all right, he's asking him some really incisive questions, and he just, like, he never asked the one that we want, you know? And what do you guys think? If you saw my video where he said, and we're looking at adding older versions to you know, the Creative Commons, did he mean like 3.5 and 4E, or do you guys think he meant all the way back down into original D&D? Core, I would gladly take them. Shadow Dark RPG just dropped on Kickstarter. Looks epic. Very interesting. Bamboozled. Great crowd. Thank you very much. What's the thrust of it? What is the thrust of it? Yeah, Uncle Brad, I'm inclined to think that it's only that it's only like 3rd edition. I very seriously doubt. Now, if they did, if they made AD&D, OD&D basic expert rules sacrosanct, because let me tell you something. I know we're all very cynical, and I know lawyers can wave their magic wand and accomplish just about anything. But if you put something in the Creative Commons, that's almost like emailing everybody in the world your secret formula. You can say takesies, backsies, and don't you dare do it. There's going to be people who do it. It is very hard to undo. So if they put OD&D, AD&D, and broadly, you guys know what I mean in those clauses. I shouldn't have to name every edition of Dungeons and Dragons up to 5. Okay. But if they put OD&D and AD&D under the Creative Commons, that could be a game changer. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Okay. I'm not, no, of course, never trust WotC. No, I got you. But if it did, I'm saying if it did, if that happened, you know, how titanic would that be? How monumental would that be? And again, I think the odds of it happening are about the same as Microsoft open sourcing like Windows XP. Board Game 55, it'll be hard to now. Yeah. So what is Shadow Dark, Bamboozled? You've got us on the edges of our seats. King on the Mountain, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Let us celebrate your return with a shout out. Shout out to King on the Mountain. Speaking of shout out, thank you very much. Oh, and by the way, if you go looking for this shirt on the internet, I Heart Greyhawk, of course, this refers to the to the family living community in Florida called Greyhawk. This is not a violation of any Wizards of the Coast intellectual property. I live in Florida. I have seen the community. I've seen pictures of it on their website, and it's quite lovely. The best non-WotC 1E version is Osric, James. That is correct. But speaking of things and speaking of collaborations, tonight's live stream, this part and the AD&D game, which kicks off at 9 o'clock tonight, is brought to you by our friends at Hellebarde Games. Hellebarde Games makes the modules that they'd like to play, whether it's for Castles and Crusades, 5th edition, or old school rules. Old school is in play at the table. You can find Hellebarde Games on DriveThruRPG or on their website at hellebardegames.com. We love us some Hellebarde Games, and you might find an adventure written by me in their catalog. Temple of the Sun. Yes, there is a Greyhawk in Florida. There's a Greyhawk in Florida. Now, I will warn you about Osric. Osric, if you love the monk, if you love psionics, if you love psionic monks, it's the thought that counts. You will have to backport those things in. You will have to add those things yourself. But yes, there is a Greyhawk, Florida. Super clean but creative OSR 5e hybrid. Huh. Interesting. You know, I've often said that if you take just the base rules of 5th edition D&D, you can run just about anything through it. I've played a 1E AD&D Ranger with the 5th edition core rules. I just started front loaded. Everybody else had to slowly level up their powers. I got everything right off the bat. Stuff that would be feats that you would add later. And as a DM, now the game didn't go long enough for it to really matter, but I just backported in multi-classing rules and the XP tables for 1E AD&D, and it went just fine. I don't know what Osric Unearthed includes, James. I do not. But that sounds interesting. That sounds very interesting. I think there was also a Greyhawk in Wyoming, but it's spelled Gray Hawk. And yeah, I mean, collecting chaos, you're absolutely right. There is an information systems security organization called Palantir, and it's spelled just like it is in the Lord of the Rings. And they're allowed to do that because, you know, they don't have the seeing stones of Numenor as their corporate logo, or, you know, it's not like they don't call their software package, you know, Barad-dûr by Palantir or anything like that. They just call it Palantir. Yeah, it's hard to beat the art style of 1E. It really is. Oh, that's very cool, King on the Mountain. Well, I mean, monks could get just about anything. Can you imagine a monk with body weaponry? Like a high-level monk just shrugging off any psychic attack and then slicing a dude in half with a single chopping motion. I call it karate chop, but if you're playing in Greyhawk, there's no Japan, so no karate. Well, thank you, L-Board Game. Is it L-Board Game or I-Board Game 55? You'll have to tell me. we've talked about psionics on the show before. I'm of the mind, no pun intended this time, that you can use psionics. It just requires a fair amount of tweaking to get it to work right. Monoland chop. There you go, Robert. See, Robert, I have the best audience, okay? I have the best live stream audience ever because you guys, like, you're just quick on the draw like that. So it's an I board game. Okay. I'm sorry. I kept calling you L board game. So it's I board game. Now, one thing that you guys need to look out for is a lot, most of the old school art guys that did stuff in D&D who are still with us, of course, Dave Trampier and Dave Sutherland and Jim Rosseloff are sadly no longer with us. But the folks who are still out there producing some great stuff. You know, Tracy Lesh is still doing art. We've had Tracy on the show before. Errol Otis, like, just does stuff all the time. So does Darlene, Dave S. LaForce, Larry Elmore, Jeff Easley. All those guys, I think Dave's, my goodness. Jeff D is doing stuff. So you can find things. Yeah, we all miss Wormy. Trampier was a god. Yes, he was. Now, when the Troll Lords asked Gary, when Gary was bringing the Yigsburg stuff, Greyhawk, to Troll Lord Games, and I worked on that with Gary, but myself and other writers. Let me make that 100% clear. I'm not going all Brian, what's his name from NBC News on y'all, you know. So I told Gary, you should call the game Dungeons and Dragons. That's not what I'm doing. Myself and a large number of other writers. I think at the end there were 11 of us working on projects with Gary. Started out at 30, but you know, stuff happens. But the down low was that they asked Gary, like, hey, who do you want to do like cover art and interior art for the books? Do you want us to? And he said, I would really, really like to get Dave Trampier if you can find some way to get in touch with him. And the Trolls, the polite response they got from Dave Trampier was, no, thank you. I'm not interested. The impolite, off the record response that they got was F off. Not no, but F you no. Ole Olsen saw a great interview with Errol the other day. I got to get Errol on the show. I should reach out to Errol and get him on the show. Marco C. Mello, greetings. But roll tide, Greg. But yeah, he fought ever having to do anything again until people started to coax him out. He did a local little, like tiny, like more of a games day at a store thing type convention and was open to doing more RPG art. And then he passed away from complications from cancer. They were paying all the artists in drips and drabs. Tracy Lesh's payment for all the OD&D art he did, I think, was which was in Supplement 2 and Supplement 3, I think, was like $25. I'm not sure what he got paid for Boot Hill or for his work in the original unpublished OD&D version of Tomb of Horrors. I'm not sure what he got paid for those, but his work in Supplement 2 and 3 was either 25 or $50. But as far as Trampier goes, I know he was getting steady paychecks because the story goes that the last couple of his paychecks were returned unopened, and someone asked Phil Foglio, who of course was doing stuff regularly for Dragon Magazine. They asked Phil Foglio, hey, do you know what's going on with Dave Trampier? His last 2 paychecks were returned unopened. And his remark in response to that was, well, then he's probably dead, because if an artist doesn't cash a paycheck, it means that they're dead, because artists always need money. He was trying to be funny at the time. But apparently, this is only what I've heard from third parties, Dave began to have some real mental health issues. And he felt that he felt that RPGs weren't healthy. War games and board games he was okay with, but he thought RPGs weren't healthy. And in fact, it creeps into one of the later issues, I guess you would say, of Wormy, where one of the characters kind of breaks the fourth wall and is looking right out of a panel. He's addressing one of the other characters, but he's looking out at the reader saying, you can't just sit around playing games all day, was the actual panel. Acid reflow. Yeah, no, we talked about Shadow Dark. So his next big move was to attempt to buy Wormy in toto from TSR. He wanted to buy the character, the designs, and everything. And he started up at the time what would have been a Kickstarter of the day. He basically sold shares in a Wormy concern and said, hey, you back me at a certain level, you buy a certain number of shares, and I will try and get an attorney. I will make an offer to TSR, and I'll get it back. And then I'm going to publish a Wormy compendium. So you're buying a Wormy compendium, and you're helping me buy Wormy back from TSR, and I'll publish this compendium, and everything will be hunky-dory. But TSR refused. Now, good to his word, Dave refunded a great many of the investors. Some of them refused a refund and just said, no, keep the money. So he, after that was when he literally fell off the radar. Now, the next time that Dave comes up in mention was, I want to say it was in 1998. It might have been 1999. It may have been a little bit later in the early 2000s. As just kind of a human interest piece, a columnist for the school newspaper for the University of Chicago at Urbana or Urbana. Is it Urbana or Urbana? You guys in the Midwest will have to tell me. But anyway, they they basically went out and like, who's out there in the wee hours from midnight to just before dawn, and they met this cab driver, and his name was Dave Trampier. And there was one photo of him there, and if you see the photo, if you have an AD&D player's handbook, or just about any D&D players or any D&D book, Dave mostly you just used his face for people. He would vary it somewhat, which I don't think was an ego thing. I think it was just I know what I look like. But people saw that and were like, that looks like what you figured Dave Trampier would look like, 15, 20 years on. And the name is identical and he's in the right place. His former brother-in-law, I can't remember which it is, Tom Wham, and of course, Tom Wham, game designer, illustrator, he's got stuff that spans all the way from the 70s to now, and he still makes games, and he still likes games. Awful Green Things from Outer Space, Snit Smasher, Snit's Revenge. The list just goes on and on and on and on. Mertwig's Maze. So Tom Wham said, okay, because people kept asking me, is that Dave? Is that Dave? And he said, yes. All I'm going to tell you is that he is alive. He is satisfied with where he's at. No, I won't forward any questions. No, I won't ask him for an autograph. He just wants to be left alone. He literally just wants to be left alone. So that was confirmed that in the late 90s, early 2000s, he was driving a cab in Illinois around the University of Chicago, Urbana. So that is the story. That is the saga of Dave Trampier, and then he kind of fell off the radar again, and then came, open to the idea of doing RPG art again, and going to conventions and talking to fans and that sort of thing. And then cancer claimed him because fuck cancer. But, you can absolutely spot Dave's art from a mile away. He had a way with pen and ink that made stuff look like woodcuts, which just blows my mind. It's pretty amazing. Eleanor's at Disney. I don't think you're going to see her on the Main Street Parade anytime soon, Luther. Oh, that's nice, John. Greetings, Orbital Air. Good to see you. If I kickstarted something, would you guys back it? I don't think I'd get $265,000, but who knows? Who knows? I've got something in the works. I'm going to be working on something with Tracy Lesh. I've hinted at this before, but I'm not going to tell you guys what it is until it's done and until it's ready to go. And I don't know if once it's ready to go, I would kickstart it like, hey, you guys, pay for printing, or what? Why would you not back it? I don't know. You might take a look at my pitch and mine and Tracy's pitch, and you might go, well, that's shit. I'm not giving my money to you, you hack. Oh, I appreciate that, Core. I do. But yeah, I love looking in the Monster Manual, the Player's Handbook, and the Dungeon Master's Guide just to look at Trampier's illustrations. I mean, there are other illustrations that I love just as much. David S. LaForce. Of course, Dave Sutherland. Now, here's an interesting artist story. We all know the wraparound cover of the AD&D Monster Manual. A lot of people think it's cringe. A lot of people love it. I always thought it was pretty cool. Like, I just love stuff like that. Maybe the execution could have been better, but I really liked it. The guy who created it, David C. Sutherland, did not. He got his copy from the printer and threw it in the trash. Someone salvaged it and made sure that it didn't get thrown out. DM James, thank you. Greyhawk is awesome. And just tell you when my Kickstarter starts, okay. Miracle the Chaotic is who you're thinking of. But yeah, all of the stuff that Dave Sutherland did back in the day for the Monster Manual. Well, I shouldn't say all of it. A great amount of it he wanted to redo. In the true first print copy of the Monster Manual, the illustrations for the Glabrezu, the Type 3, I think the Glabrezu is, or is he the Type 4? Anyway, a gorilla body, 2 tiny arms sticking out of his chest, bat wings, dog's head with bat wing ears, and pincher hands. That guy. Dave did not like that illustration, so he redid it. There were a bunch of dinosaurs he wanted to keep doing illustrations for, but the art department eventually cut him off. Because if you look in a true first print copy, there's no dinosaur illustrations. But that's just the kind of perfectionist that Dave Sutherland was. Greetings, Kinnick. You know, I can't hate on too much 2E art. There's a lot of it in the later days that literally, like, it's almost like OD&D art in that, like, the illustrators, I'm just like, who? You know, this person did a cover painting for one book and then, you know, now they're doing, room landscape paintings for paintings that hang in the Ramada Inn. But thank you, Bamboozled. Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of got you guys looking in my direction. You know, hey, keep screwing up, Wizards of the Coast. Keep screwing up. I don't mind at all. I don't mind in the least. But anyway, going back to Dave Sutherland and the wraparound cover art and 2E art and all of that stuff. Larry Elmore and Jeff Easley were still producing art in that time. Everybody else had gotten the axe, and David C. Sutherland was like the sole survivor. His art shows up in Supplement 2. Dave Sutherland had transitioned to like a manager of the art department and doing cartography at TSR. And everybody that worked at TSR was, when they were bought by Wizards of the Coast, was basically called in to re-interview for their jobs. Everybody except David C. Sutherland. So the man responsible for A Paladin in Hell, the cover of the Dungeon Master's Guide and the Monster Manual, the cover of the basic, or the introductory Dungeons and Dragons set, edited by J. Eric Holmes, and so many wonderful things, was literally thrown out like yesterday's trash by Wizards of the Coast. And at the age of 61, he had to become a long-haul truck driver just to make ends meet towards the end of his life. Treated so wonderfully well by Wizards of the Coast. That's why when people talk about, well, no, the old Wizards of the Coast back, in the early 2000s was cool. No, they weren't. They were mercenary. Okay. Yes, the OGL was nice. But don't hold them up as some kind of grognards like us guys, all right? And if you go look through and you look at their chartered accountancy approach to the design of 3rd edition and 3.5, yeah, no, these are not cool gamer dudes. When they talk about why they deleted on a bunch of stuff in 2E, it becomes obvious that they never understood the rules, that they were the, I understand basic D&D, and I have a stack of AD&D books on the table, and when I look in the AD&D books and it doesn't match up with my expectations of what the rules should be, I throw it out, which then promptly breaks a bunch of things, which we've talked about here before, about breaking, you start throwing out subsystems in AD&D and stuff starts to break if you don't understand what you're changing. And then people go, oh, well, AD&D is garbage because blah, 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 blah. They came to the same erroneous conclusion, It's like taking it's like looking at the disk key in the Apollo space capsule and going, well, that just draws a bunch of power. I don't even know what that's for. You unbolt it and pull it out and then wonder why the astronauts can't navigate, why they can't enter programs. Because you didn't understand what it was plugged into. Hey, Drone Swarm. If I have a moment, make an argument for 1E AD&D being superior to 5E. And AD&D in general. Am I open to cross? I've had okay, first of all, I want to answer first, Drone Swarm. Yeah, Larry Brom's art is very good. Larry Brom stuck around and did stuff for 2E, especially Dark Sun, that was quite excellent. James, yes, I am. There's people I want to reach out to. Would I make an argument for 1E AD&D being superior to 5E? Of course I will. Of course I will. Give me just a hot minute here. I have some notes prepared. So let me. Well, I said I had them prepared, but do I? I may not actually have them prepared. Look, in a nutshell, I love AD&D, and I think it's the best version of D&D because AD&D is where the black magic lives. AD&D is like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath, not entirely original. They copied stuff in bits and pieces from other places and whole swaths of it in other places, but they brought it together in a way that nobody since or before has managed to accomplish. AD&D is the version of Dungeons and Dragons that dares you to bite the apple and see eternity. It's the Dungeons and Dragons of illustrations with blood on the swords. It is the Dungeons and Dragons of Against the Giants, White Plume Mountain, the Tomb of Horrors. No multiple death saves here. If you screw up, your character will freaking die. It is the AD&D of drow torture parlors and drug dens, and it told us that orcs were fecund, and we had to go find the dictionary and look up what fecund meant because Gary was expanding our minds. AD&D is where the black magic lives, and it always will be forevermore. And that is why AD&D is the superior edition of Dungeons and Dragons. Does that work? Now, Big Yehuda, to answer your question, seriously, hey, old Michael Connor, unbreaded. Greetings, Vincent. To answer your question more directly, a little bit more saliently, to be a little bit more on point. AD&D is an avatar-based game. It assumes that you do not have to take the shoe tying feat to tie your shoes. It assumes that you know how to set a snare to catch a rabbit so you can eat for a night if you're out of rations. It assumes that you can at least climb a tree to get a look out across the rolling plains at the edge of the forest, that you can swim across a river, assuming you're smart enough to take your armor off before you do so, that you know that those mushrooms are edible and tasty and savory, and those mushrooms will kill you dead if you get some on you, that you know how to light a torch, that you know how to wrap the handle of your sword and keep it sharp. There are no skill systems in first edition Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. There are what are called secondary or background skills that you as the DM and the player may use to flavor the character a little bit, but there's not a skill system there. It is a game of avatars. If you're sticking your face into a cave in the ground that is full of orcs, led by trolls, controlled by a chaotic evil magic user, overseen by a red dragon whose patron is a demon, that you've got a handle on things like keeping your clothes mended and your shield oiled. There are specific cases, very specific cases. Thieves' abilities is not a skill set, okay? Not in the sense of broad role-playing game skills. It is an incredibly specific, precise set of abilities. Think of that like infravision. You can't learn infravision. You can squint. You can wait till your pupils dilate completely so you can see in the dark. But it is a game or rather, it is a class of doing things. When people say, well, couldn't I learn to pick a lock? I'll watch the thief very carefully. Here's the thing about that. I have had to repair computer systems under extreme pressure with people this close to me screaming at me. Now, when I first started doing it, I couldn't. Like, I had to stop and think. Putting together a simple computer could take hours and hours. Now it's something I can do in my sleep. Now, imagine you don't know how to put a computer together. You watch me do it 5 times, and then you say, okay, I'm going to do it. And I say, all right, fine. And I go on the other side of the room and I just start throwing tennis balls at you. I don't tell you which screwdriver is going to work best. Occasionally I come over and I bump you with my shoulder. I break out the King James Bible and start reading Revelations at the top of my lungs in your ear. That's going to be very distracting for you. You don't just, that's not something that you pick up. No, it's not orbital. You're very close, though. Greetings, RPG Grandma. No, Slade, I respectfully disagree that NWPs were not good. Strictly because they, like, the two systems of NWPs in Wilderness Survival Guide and Dungeoneer Survival Guide are completely at odds with each other. The mechanics are totally different. You need some stress relief. Well, I do that for you sometimes. We can even roll dice to see who's lazy Antichrist. Sure. That's not true, Road March. It never says that happens. What's to say a man wouldn't be drawn to a comely female orc? Or that an orc and a woman couldn't find peace together? Or they just enjoyed a night together. What do iron rations taste like? Pemmican, hardtack, that sort of thing, I would say. Pemmican and hardtack. The dwarf half-orc. That's interesting. Is that a dork? Or an ord? Or is that a dork or an orf, rather? Dork or orf? Does it? I don't know. I've never had it. I've had the brand of beef jerky that's called pemmican, and I thought that's what it tasted like. I said, oh, pemmican tastes fine. We've had pemmican before. It's like this. And I'm like, no, I bought some at the 7-Eleven. I feel like, no, not that. That's not pemmican. It's... Orf the dork, a dork. There's a YouTube channel that if you're not subscribed to, you should be. It's Steve 1989 MRE Info. He's a local boy. He lives over in Tampa. I don't know him personally, but that's the area where he lives. And he tries out MREs and reviews them and talks about the contents of them. And unless they are visibly bad and will kill him, like, you know, a can has a hole rusted in it and it's oozed its contents out all over everything else. And if the can's not swollen, if there's not obvious evidence of botulinum toxin and so forth, he will, generally speaking, eat old MREs, sea rats. He has eaten a piece of Civil War hardtack that he bought at a military memorabilia auction. Not a piece of hardtack that was made in the style of Civil War hardtack. He bought a tin container unopened with a piece of hardtack in it and ate it on his live stream. But more disgusting and adventurous than that, Steve... he acquired a tin. Basically, it's the equivalent of an emergency ration that the British issued troops in the late 1800s. And it's a can. It's about that long. It's about that wide. One half of it is meat powder. The other half is cocoa powder. And I think tea mixed in with it for a beverage. That side was a loss because that side had rusted through. The other side, the other can, because it's basically two oval cans soldered together, was intact. And he opened it. And per the instructions, he prepared beef porridge. He ate 130-year-old beef. Now think about that for a second. The cow that came from wandered around for probably a good 5 years before it was slaughtered. So he ate about 135 to 140-year-old beef porridge. He said it tasted awful. Like he was like, "This is disgusting. This smells terrible. This has like, you know, just a like a bland to like taste like leather consistency." DM James got, yeah. I mean, DM James is here. I don't think he'd crash my stream. Oh, you meant crash my stream isn't coming here. Barbara Lee Weaver. Steve has a death wish. You know what's funny? He ate hardtack. He ate the 135-year-old beef porridge. What made him sick? The one time he has gotten food poisoning, the one and only time he ever got food poisoning, he ate a Chinese Air Force MRE from that was like a couple of years old. It's an MRE issued to Chinese Air Force pilots. And he said, "Okay, I'm going to try this," and was like, "Yeah, okay. Oh, look, here's a little bit of spinach in there." That wasn't spinach. That was pork that had turned, and it had gone green. It had literally gone green. And that knocked him out. No, that's fine, Wolfgrind. I mean, like what you like. Josh Butler, greetings. But anyway, we are a couple of minutes away. I don't know the vomlets. Yeah. I don't like the 5e dice system at all. I've played it because that's what was being played at the table, but I'm not fond of it. We're about 2 minutes away. If anyone has any questions for me before we get started playing first edition AD&D, I'm waiting for a couple of people to come in. I see TK and Mark sitting out there in the green room. We are one of our players will be late coming in the back half, but Doomsword should be here shortly. Let me see. Just want to take a quick look at something. Switch that tab. We'll switch to that tab. Hey, we're at 4251. Welcome all you newcomer folks. That is awesome. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you'll enjoy your stay. I hope you'll have a good time. 4251. Thank you. Thank you for everyone who is subscribed. What is the scenario and a little history up to this point? The party is in the city of Greyhawk. They are alternately plundering and exploring and getting eaten by things in the ruins of Castle Greyhawk. Not the ruins of Castle Greyhawk, the module. But in Castle Greyhawk, in the dungeon areas, because it's a ruin that they're exploring. and having adventures on the streets of the city of Greyhawk. They are looking for treasure, making their names, exploring. Mobius says, bring on Castle Greyhawk. You could join us, Mobius. Join us. Mobius is fun to game with. Oh, they've met a few. I don't want to give too much away to them, Vincent. Maybe they have. Maybe they haven't. James Hayes, we're having a great evening. We're waiting on at least one more person to join. In fact, let me see if I can raise him up. Not raise him up as in bring him back from the dead. Any sign of Vecna, Loth, Tiamat? They'd better hope not. They'd better hope not. Yes, I've cast Summon Player. So we're waiting for him to join. And he will be walking in the green room. Did I see your question? I did not, Brodo. You will have to repeat it. Let me scroll up a little bit and see. Maybe I can see it. You didn't ask about the scenario. Oh, is it true that Gary was taking a shot at Arjun Grimoire? Yes. Yes, that is true. He was taking a shot at the Vacuous Grimoire. Haven't played it, Lux. Don't know. Have not played Eberron. Oh, wait a minute. No. I'm confusing Eberron with something else. I was getting my wires crossed, Numenera and Eberron. I don't know much about Numenera. I know a little bit about Eberron. Not really to my taste. Now, if somebody backported it to AD&D and really gave it some of that grit, some of that classic grit, yeah, I would say so. I have not. I have done a review of Heidi Gygax's Till Death Do Us Part module right here on the show. We had them on a live stream a few weeks ago when their module funded. That was pretty awesome. What shots did Gary prefer? Vodka, rum? I think Gary, to the best of my knowledge, was fond of wines and beers, but he might have liked scotch and so on. I will find that information out for you. I am having a dinner and an RPG when I go up to Gary Con, or go up to Lake Geneva for Gary Con with Heidi. I will see if I can wheedle that information out from her. But I do believe, if I am not mistaken, I do believe that Gary was a beer and wine guy. Which is not to say he didn't like rum or scotch or vodka, but would I have Luke on the show? If Luke wanted to come on the show, sure. Yeah, I mean, there's very few people that I won't have on the show. Like I said, it's got to be something relevant that I think you guys would like and enjoy. Hey, there's Doomsword. So we're gonna we're gonna start this game. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, once again, for that wonderful point in the evening where we welcome our players and get ready and play some first edition advanced Dungeons and Dragons. So let us bid a laurel and hearty handshake to the one, the only Doomsword Deathmaster as thief extraordinaire, Turgo. Good evening.
Hey, how's it going? Sorry to be late.
Oh, that's quite all right. A Doomsword is never late. He always arrives exactly when he intends to. The quiet, contemplative Shaolin himself, Mark, as Brother Ishan. Greetings. You're muted if you're meaning to talk to us, Mark.
The mute button is my nemesis. Hello.
Favorite enemy, control. The control key on the keyboard. And of course, the guy who keeps us on the historical straight and narrow himself. Ladies and gentlemen, back from his recent tour of India, Scandinavia, and the subcontinent, the one, the only, TK as Sir Outlier. Crowd noises for.
I'd love to do a tour like that. I just don't have the $500,000 I'd like to blow while doing it.
Right. Okay. So Baron von Headbanger, who of course plays the party paladin, the moral compass for the group, he will be joining us on the back half. Mike Wilson Art, greetings. Good to see you. So, gentlemen, welcome back. What are your intentions?
Well, I plan to go kill some whites, but since the moral compass of the group isn't currently at my back, I feel like I should wait to have his. Well, to be fair, the DM could roll for him, but nonetheless,
I will roll for him. He will be strangely silent in the background. So, and we are theater of the mind, guys, since I'm not 100% sure exactly which direction you guys are going to be going tonight. We are theater of the mind. Sometimes for people who are watching, sometimes we mix it up. We have miniatures, we have Dwarven Forge. It's kind of nice looking. I think it's some lovely eye candy. But tonight we are all theater of the mind. We will, Luther, we will. Nadine, we like it.
So, TK, you're suggesting going back in the cavern area to one of that first rooms we found where we grabbed loot, but there was some undead that we didn't kill?
yes, there were. And I mentioned this to your monk last time.
Yeah.
And he loved the idea. He was really behind it, 100%.
Don't believe this man.
Hence the nobody gets my sarcasm, I swear. Anyway, so yeah, that would be one thing to do. I mean, don't get me wrong, we made out with a lot of the treasure from their room, but I believe there was more. I can turn whites, like, I think on the roll of a 7 or something like that right now. Unless there's something ridiculous going on with them.
Bill would never do that.
Oh, no, never. Not being a student of Gary, no, they all turn as vampires. Well, no, but to be fair, I did successfully turn them as whites once before. Back when I had to roll an 18 or higher. So
I, me, the player, happy to do whatever. The monk, while he is valiant, he's a little nervous about this plan. Given that he is first level, very squishy.
How good is your monk with throwing things?
Unproficient. I'm sure he could throw something. He has a crossbow.
That's fine, but
sure I can.
I can hand him.
That was horrible.
Holy water.
Yeah, I guess I could throw holy water.
Yeah, I got like 5 things of it. So have a bandolier of holy water, kid. Go nuts.
Sure.
Yeah. So, and for those of you who don't, by the way, if you don't keep your holy water at least in a bandolier form, I'm sorry. You really probably should. But, yeah.
I drink holy water for breakfast.
You must be living high on the hog, and I do not know this man. Sadly, I lied. I only have 4 holy water, not 5.
Okay.
But you are welcome to all 4 of them.
I will grab the 4. Holy water. It's on my character sheet, so it's real. It exists.
Okay. And the other thing is if I recall, we had to go in there one at a time before. And
yeah, it was very narrow.
It was very narrow.
Right, the opening was, right?
Yeah. So,
And then it like opened up wider, right? And they were around some column or something toward the backside.
It was, I think we could stand 2 abreast in the room. And then the back side was larger. But think like an L-shaped room, I think.
Wasn't there like a chest in plain sight in that room as well?
There were some sacks that we took. There was a dude's boots that you were fascinated with, and that's what brought us in. As far as a chest, I don't remember there being one, but I do remember the room was large enough to sufficiently hold 14 bodies in the corners that we wouldn't have immediately noticed them with our infravision, or else that they would have all been cringed away with the turning.
So how? Sorry, go.
Nah, you.
So you go out. Sir Outlier goes in first, does holy stuff, and maybe Turgo or Cork goes in next, and you start to lay waste to them.
Pretty much, yes. That would be.
And I'll follow up behind and lob in some holy waters and plunk people with crossbow bolts.
Yes. Would you like some oil as well?
Actually, that's an interesting question. Can a monk use oil? I believe they can.
I didn't think it required a proficiency.
It doesn't, but there's a little gotcha, and I'm not sure. Maybe Bill doesn't play with that, but that if monks can use oil, monks cannot use oil.
Monks can use flaming oil attacks. They cannot.
Can I ask a different question?
Sure.
Can you throw oil and somebody else is on fire?
I'm not going to split the rules that tightly. No, I can't do that.
Okay. That seems really stupid, but go off, Gary. Go off.
It's a random rule in the AD&D Player's Handbook. What else do you expect? It's
why
we play it. It's goofy and fun. That's why we play it.
That's fair. It's like my favorite Wu Gen, thing that they had to give up because you kind of have to do that is you cannot discard your hair or like fingernail trimmings. And so I had a Wu Gen that would just carry around like a bag thereof until they could burn it.
That was something that a lot of people did over time. But yeah, so we have a plan. Let's go meet the enemy and have that plan be ruined.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I would add to that is I intend to sneak into the room quietly, and then the warriors can follow up behind me.
How do I sound now?
Good.
Better?
Yeah, that was just there was a request there from King on the Mountain to if you could bump up your gain a little bit.
I had absolutely no clue what gain meant, but I assumed you were talking about sound. Remember, I know absolutely jack and or blank about it.
Microphone volume was the request.
Well, my snowball was perched behind my laptop, so that would be why.
Okay, yeah. So the screen's probably blocking a little. That if you could move that around or up a bit.
Yep, already done.
Excellent. You are 5 by 5.
Okay, so well, actually, I think I'm about 5'8" by about 210.
Fair enough.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. There
We have a plan. It's going to be destroyed once we encounter the enemy, so let's go destroy our plan.
The best laid plans of mice and men.
Yeah, gang ethically.
Okay, so you want me going into this hellhole first?
That's what I think we should do.
Turgo, do you want to go in first? You went in first last time.
I could. However, I would expect absolute silence behind me.
I'll be sure to let out the loudest fart as you crawl in.
Well, as long as you come running when I scream.
That's fine.
All right, screw it. I'll go first.
Lead on.
All right. Go ahead and lead us there, and then you'll file in. My dog is not with us, I don't think.
All right.
No, actually, sorry, my dog's back with you. Oh, because I did bring him, but he's not going to be in the front because it would just be touch and then dead dog.
Dog can stay with me in the back for now.
Okay, so greetings, Ardu. Good to see you. So of course your fighting man Darwish is accompanying you as well. He Turgo, you're essentially his employer, and he says, I stand ready, my lord. Where would you have me?
Stay far enough behind that I may not hear you.
Of course.
Would your follower like flaming oil?
Darwish.
I do enjoy crisping our enemies when they least expect it.
As do I.
And the balance between that and cold steel, if I can reach out and strike an enemy with a little bit of fire, then I'll take that opportunity.
Cool. Take 3.
And that's why you're paid, my man.
He takes a few rounds to adjust some things, move some things around in his pack. So he's now got it in a large belt pouch that is hanging on his right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a question. Is there anything that would not be listening? Not sure I follow you, Jerome. All right, so now, as late, you guys have been negotiating with the party of humans, or at least all of them you've met thus far are humans in the north of the cistern that you enter Castle Greyhawk. So you're not that far removed from where you last encountered the whites at.
Correct. That was one of the reasons why it came to mind.
All right. So just I think we can make just a couple of wandering monster checks while you're going there. All right. So you cross through the room with a collapsed wall, and there's the ever-present scummy puddle on the floor. Ever-present scummy puddle will be the name of my punk band's first album, by the way.
That should just be the nickname for Congress.
Well, I mean, that works too. All right. And what is your marching order as you're moving through nominal width corridors?
Brother Ishad with the dog is in the back.
Right. And I would imagine it's Turgo up front, Darwish a little bit behind him, whatever distance is required, 30, 40 feet. And then probably Outlier right behind Darwish.
You think I'm going to let him walk in front?
Yeah. Well, that's fine. I didn't know if you were directly present. You can choose whatever you'd like with that, and Cork somewhere there in the middle as well.
And typically we can walk 2 to 3 abreast. So
yeah, this was a tight area though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as you make your way to the other side of this pond, Turgo, are you just braving it and wading through the cold, stagnant waters, or are you walking around to the north or along to the south edge of the puddle?
I'd rather walk around. I had forgotten about the stagnant cold waters. Yeah, I would most certainly rather walk around.
That's
carefully.
That I told you about them. I mean, it's obvious; it's right in front of you. If you just said, "I'm running through that room, Bill. I'm just going to go ass over tea kettle," then I would say, "Well, you run about 15 feet in and find yourself shin deep in cold, scummy water."
And thank you.
You make your way around to the south. When you hear from the natural cave area two guttural voices talking to each other.
Do they seem to be in common? Like on a split-second decision?
No, it does not seem to be common. It is not the common tongue they are speaking.
Right. I mean, I do have a number of languages. I don't know if it's any of the ones that I would have.
Tell me what they are.
Yeah, so I've got common, goblin, giant, elf. Man, this sheet's getting a little poor. I've got more of them, but that's enough for now. I think there's a orc there too, but I'll clean this up.
It is a thickly accented goblin tongue, but you think it's hobgoblin, but not speaking hobgoblin. You can't make out what they're saying. They are not trying to be quiet, but there are not many voices. There are two, maybe there's a third. You're not sure if it's that or the echoes.
I'll certainly stop in my forward progress, trying to remain silent, and assuming nothing happens, can I hear about or discern about how far ahead they are?
They sound like they're definitely somewhere out in the in one of the larger galleries in the cavernous area, but close enough by that their voices are carrying towards you.
Okay, well, I'll make the assumption that they haven't heard me, and I'll carefully make my way back to the group.
Okay. As you turn to start walking, and your soft boots scuff on the gravel and wet sand as you make your way around to the pond. Let's see. You just hear the voices fading as you make your way back over towards the party. That is, as you go away from them, they get quieter, but it doesn't seem like they're moving away, but it's a little hard to tell.
Right, fair enough. I assume I'd make it back to within the torchlight that the party carries, and I'll explain to Outlier, who would be the first there. We have voices ahead. Goblin of some sort.
And you came
only a couple.
And you came back here and ran.
Well, how about this? How about you charge directly into it, and then come back and let me know what you find?
As you're talking, I'm walking.
Sweet.
You get, how about you? And I'm already past you.
That's exactly what I wanted.
Do you remember the last time Outlier encountered hobgoblins? What I did to them?
I made them pets.
No, not that one.
Guards all of this quietly.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and move in around the corner. I'm not going to make any attempt to be stealthy. I'll have my sword and shield out. I'll probably even be singing a jaunty tune at that point.
All right. Well, you're singing and stomping along does nothing to create a surprise situation, and you were rather expecting them, so you're not surprised. A pair of hobgoblins comes around the funnel-like cavernous passage that leads into the collapsed back of this room, and they stop and they see you, regarding you with their sallow piggy faces, and say, "Dwarf, what you do?"
I cast Hold Person.
You cast Hold Person. All right. Let's see. So you raise your hands and start to cast a spell. Moments.
That'd be what I do.
That'd be what you do. Hobgoblins are on the list of yes, this will affect them. Let's roll initiative. What is Turgo doing? Cork is listening. He's got his sword out and he's kind of listening for cries of oh my god, it was a huge ancient red dragon with hobgoblin hand puppets. So he's standing at the ready. Darwish is standing at the ready. What is Brother Ishan doing?
Following Cork's lead, just ready and prepared with his crossbow.
All righty. Then since you are right there, why don't you go ahead and roll initiative for me, please, DK?
Sure.
3.
DK.
All right. The hobgoblins see you raise your hand to start casting a spell, and they draw their swords and lunge at you.
You had AC -2?
The first one does. So your old person is spoilt, and you take 5 points of damage.
Okay.
The
Good
second
for
one, it's a good night for the hobgoblins. Follows up his fellow's blows. You kind of stagger back, your ears ringing from clong when the sword lands on your armor. Oh, but he only does 2 points, so it's really just more recovering and ducking and dodging and weaving in a sort of a tight cave space.
Okay.
Darwin looks expectantly at Turgo and says,
You first. I draw my bow.
all right. So Darwish is moving up. Your spell is spoilt, so we're going to have to go to next round declarations. Now what are you doing, DK?
I'll cut one in half.
You'll cut one in half. Okay. Well, they are attempting the same as you. Darwish arrives.
They
basically
basically -2. Good for them.
Let's roll initiative. Once again, that's you, TK, since you're the only one up there.
Sure. 3 again.
They will go first again.
Sure.
Good Lord. Okay. This dice, because it has this lovely frosted snow globe center, may be a little biased because, yeah, you got pranged twice again.
Okay.
One and one. So, well, it was for the least amount of damage possible. It's two total points of damage as they rush in. They kind of bump into each other as they're trying to stab you and smash you. You take a total 2 points of damage. So
I cut one in half.
What'd you roll?
Well, that's a nat 20 on the D20, and if you really want the damage, that's what? 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 6 is 4 plus 5 is 9, plus 6 is 15.
Okay. Yeah. You slay him in due order. Okay. I know what the other fellow is going to do in the next round. I will go ahead. You know what? Darwish is there. He will. Swing and miss that one. You going to cut this one in half also?
May as well.
Alrighty, let's roll initiative.
Eat your blood. Why not? 6.
Okay, you and Darwish both may attack before he is able to do anything.
That one is probably dead.
Yes, between you and Darwish, he is most certainly dead. You guys cut him into like 7 pieces. And right to the floor he dropped.
Okay. And I will heal myself for 4
Alrighty.
with a Cure Light Wounds, because I'll turn back to Turgo and present him with the dead bodies and go, 2 of them actually hit me.
I knew they were dangerous.
Any idea
Not
why
a
they were here?
surprise.
Well, I
No,
tried to
but
talk
perhaps-
to him to find out, but
Perhaps we can search the bodies and discern the truth.
Yeah, maybe they have some papers.
Or
Something
some
that
spare
explains
change.
what they're doing. Yeah, I guess.
So papers, no, but spare change, yes. Let's see. What do they have?
pocket lint, 3 goblin teeth, weighted dice.
Amount of stuff like that. Yes, it's like what you recoil from. You think is a shrunken head. It's actually one of those make a shrunken head out of an apple things that they've got. Let's see. So they have J and M. And for those of you curious, if you've never played First Edition AD&D, treasure determination is done by a lovely matrix, which I absolutely adore. So let's see. So 9 and 10. So there's a total of 21 copper, and they do have some gold on them too. So they have singles and 20s.
Okay.
They have 21 copper and 10 gold.
Well,
of course they've got knuckle bones, Uncle Brad. No self-respecting humanoid doesn't have a set of knuckle bones ready to throw some liar's dice with his fellow knuckle draggers.
want to give Darwish the copper, and I'll take the gold.
Sure.
All right. Darwish thanks you and puts the. He takes a moment to take his backpack up because his belt pouch is currently full of flasks of oil. Dumps the coins in there, and you carry on. It does not take you long. It certainly takes you less than a turn to reach the pinched corridor, which is just a few feet wide, that leads to where you last saw the whites. Now it's here that Cork speaks, and he says, I don't repel whites naturally with my protection from evil, but I can do my best to help slay them in the best way we can.
Why does Cork sound a little bit like Elvis now?
I was thinking about that.
Oh wow! That's the best Baron von Headbanger impression I can do. Sunny red.
Well, fortunately for us, Cork, we don't expect much from you.
Ouch.
How about
Will never be.
Sad but true. Okay, so you in first, me in second. I'll turn them, and we'll go from there.
I believe so. If I'm not mistaken, there were no exits from this chamber.
Yep. Darwish in third, so he can throw oil. Priest or monk in fourth.
All right, I'll attempt to make my way through the opening
Well,
and hug the wall on the west side.
It should be
Okay.
you, me, Darwesh, then the paladin, and then the monk.
Very well. I'm going to attempt to be quiet.
All right. Okay, so you think you're being as quiet as you can. You know, there's a lot of scraping and scuffing as you wedge yourself in, and Darwesh is fairly close to you, and his armor's going clank clank as he's entering the cave area.
Fool of a Darwesh, throw yourself in first next.
Well, if anything, it'd probably be me, and it'd probably be me making even more noise as well. Yeah.
Not Darwesh, but you. Okay, so
I don't say anything to him.
Ah, smart man.
the whites are not surprised. You probably didn't move, and yes. So half a tick here.
Yes. No.
Well, it's okay. We can die in this hallway together.
That's true.
So looking for all the world like Julian Beck in Poltergeist 2, what you presume is the leader, extends his gnarled, pale fingers towards you and says, "Ah, you've returned. Warm us." And you see perhaps a dozen figures rising up from leaning against the walls. "Your theft is forgiven. The warmth of your souls will suffice.
I come in peace.
And the peace of the grave you shall know." So he's shuffling forward. This chamber is approximately, very roughly, like the area you're in is kind of restricted, maybe 8 feet across, but at its widest, it's about 20 feet across. And where you're looking essentially to the north, you think is about 25 feet, and it's roughly sort of a very, very rough round shape. They are all arrayed, resting against the walls. He will basically have a melee distance to cross to get to you in this round. Is Outlier close enough that he would essentially be coming into the room now?
I would have been coming in immediately behind.
Sure, gotcha. I just didn't want to misconstrue. What about
turning undead?
He's standing back, prepared to be the core of the next party of adventure as you guys roll up? I mean, guarding in the hall.
We have the two of us shuffled in together first, and then Darwesh and Quark are shuffling in together second.
Okay.
That way, it's basically like buddy system, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. Let's go ahead and roll initiative then. You want to win this initiative. Roll that for me, please, Doomsword, because you're entering the room first.
I'll be turning undead.
Fantastic. All right, hang on here. Let's see. I'm gonna roll it on a surface that makes noise. 2.
Okay, it is simultaneous. They are lunging forward to touch you, but the turn undead, the holy symbol's coming up. Roll to see if you turn them.
I roll above a 7.
You did roll above a 7?
I roll above a 7. It's not much above a 7, it's an 8. But it's above a 7.
Your faith wavers for just a minute when you remember the last time you saw them, but then you're like, nope. God is
where. No matter where, comfort no man speak. Let us talk of graves, of worms, of epitaphs.
Yes. Drone Swarm asks, is there a disease roll with whites or with ghasts? No, there is not. Well, at least there wasn't, but that's a good idea. I like that. Okay, so now you're going to want to roll.
It's 2d6, right?
2d6. That is correct. It is 2d6.
Yeah, that's bad. That's better. Okay, 6 total.
6 total. Some of them, and I'm going to give a 50-50 chance on whether or not the leader, which is the closest one to Turgo.
Yeah, it'd be closest first, right?
I'm sorry?
It'd be closest first, right?
It's just all those in the radius. So let's see. Yes, he himself does begin to withdraw and say, no, and they're like backing against the wall, and some are like digging in the soft sand and trying to get away from it. However, there are still 5 of them. 3 are attacking Outlier. 2 are going after Turgo. Roll 3d4 to see how many rounds they will be repelled.
Sure. Can I stop rolling ones, please? That's better. That's not. 5.
5. So 5 rounds they will be turned for. Okay. So Outlier, where's a d20 that won't do that? Oh, look, you got hit 5 times. Welcome to Netballs. All right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a miss.
AC -2.
Okay, let's see. What are you higher level in, by the way? Fighter or cleric, or is it equal?
They're equal.
They are equal. Okay. Let me see here. And I'll roll.
So he hit me, huh?
Yes. You were struck by a couple. You lose a level of fighter. You lose a level of cleric.
Okay.
You lose, let's see. Cleric is D8 hit die.
I was hit twice?
Yes. Because there's 3 of them and 2 of them hit you.
So I lose 2 hit points. A cleric. And then fighter's D10, right?
Yes.
Well, actually, it's 2, and then I divide, right? So that would have been 1.
You'd average it. Basically, you'd take your...
yeah, okay. So, all right, so 11 total, divide by 2 is 5.
Yes, so you lose 5 hit points. You lose a level of fighter. You lose a level of cleric. And damage, like actual physical damage you take from this is going to be...
I'll have to go have that restored.
It's 1 to 4 twice. So you take 1, and you take a total of 3, and the 2 that like grab onto you throw their heads back. That's just like looks of dark ecstasy on their faces as they
And how much did I take?
claw at you. You take a total of 3 damage from them. That is a miss on Turgo. Oh my God, James! Oh wow. Okay. James Hayes. Okay, I set the price. I paid. Huge ancient red dragon attack. Didn't really expect that, did you? I'm kidding to a degree. Do what you want with the cash and have fun gaming. Wow. Okay. Thank you, James, from the bottom of my heart. That is amazing, brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're the man. I think you meant make me not lose a level and give Outliers back.
Well, the only thing is when I have to restore mine, I'm not going to get the XP back.
You're not going to get the XP back, but you when you get restoration, you will get that back.
It was almost to the next level too.
Nice. Counterattacks, if you please. You were turning, so unfortunately, none from our neighborhood, Sir Outlier, but everyone else can. And Darawesh was getting that flask ready, so he's actually throwing it. Well, he'd have to throw it into melee. He screams, "Gods forgive me! Look out, my lord!" And
Hit me and die.
Is it possible for Ishan to throw a holy water in?
you're kind of way outside in a narrow. You can start to move in this round.
I will be.
So you're moving in this round. Darwish through. Cork says, "Don't." As Darwish is throwing you up, but it misses. It misses. So it is a D6 and a D8. Where does it go? For those of you who don't know, there are 2 dice rolls involved in missing with a grenade in AD&D. So that is going to be long over by 4 feet. So it basically smashes behind them. Conflagration goes up. And Darawesh says, "Curse it, I'll leap in with my sword." Cork is already there, and he's swinging and hacks one of them. Oh, wow. Yeah, he hacks one of them that is attacking Outlier and does 11 points of damage to it. Because he's got that badass magic sword, so he slices it, and it's screaming now. Ah!
I'll go ahead and attack the one in front of me.
That's fine.
Yeah, with a long sword in the right hand and a dagger in the left. And the long sword hits AC 0. Yeah, and the dagger hits AC 4.
Both of them hit.
The long sword is 8 points of damage, and the dagger is 5.
Even with enchantments?
Yeah. I don't have a strength bonus or anything.
Okay. This was. You kind of get the impression this might have been like a woman before her dark apotheosis. And she screams as you cut her from throat to hip. There's not much blood, there's that, but
less to drink
in anguish. So she didn't like that. In the next round, Ishan, you have wedged yourself into the room. There are 3 of them leaning forward to grab a hold of Sir Outlier. One has been slashed by Turgo, and there is a fire guttering kind of behind them. Some of them are backed away. Basically, it's 5 locked in combat. 2 are fighting against Darwesh and Turgo, and 3 are fighting Cork and
wait a second, didn't Turgo kill one? So wouldn't that be 1 on him?
No, it's still up. It's still up. He damage, but not enough to kill it outright. Okay. Let's go ahead and get declarations. So we'll go around the table. Mark, what is Ishan doing?
Throwing some holy water at the group around Outlier.
Okay. Outlier, you're just putting sword to these baleful.
Well, if I turn again, can't I force the ones directly in front of me away? If I succeed.
If you succeed, yes, you can force more of them away. It's not a matter of if you had failed, like if it had been Group A of whites, you turned, but Group B of whites who came in late didn't turn. but yes, you can attempt to turn them again, even though you successfully have.
Yeah, I'll do that again.
Okay, so you're going to attempt to turn. Cork sees you lifting your holy symbol up. You felt the chill of the grave. I've just sucked away 10 years of your life. Tell me. And please be honest, this is for posterity. How do you feel? So Cork will attempt to strike one. You will attempt to turn. Turgo, you just going to continue hacking?
Yeah, I'll attack the one closest to me, please.
And Darwesh has his sword out and is fighting alongside you. So, Mark, roll initiative for the party, please. You should have no problem beating that one.
4.
Party goes first. Turn undead. Roll that die. You had a 50-50.
13 clears a 10. So
13 clears a 10. You raise up your holy symbol. The power of Heronius compels you. How many try to get away from you?
8.
The rest of them are scrambling back to get away. That means those of you who can melee. Now, the dwarf, not to spoil your fun, you are holding up your holy symbol. Anyone who wants to melee them can melee them. You, Brother Ishan, can throw the holy water at them. You won't get a striking to retreat bonus, but you can throw it in this round if you wish.
9 turns. 9 rounds.
Okay. So there's 4 rounds left for the first group you turned. There's 9 rounds for this group.
Yep.
I'd, of course, like to attack one that's fleeing from me.
The former human female is right in front of you. She spins on her heel. She's thrusting her hands and hissing as she's trying to get away.
And there's a bonus.
Is that
a bonus to attack? Yes.
Yes, you're striking at +4 on a retreating target.
Perfect. Thank you.
Cork gets 1 too.
Yeah, that one's not going to work. The other one will. The dagger will hit AC 3.
You missed the +4.
I rolled a 1 with the longsword. But the dagger does 5 points of damage.
And that is enough to sever her spine. She drops like a gutted fish, flops around on the floor, pitifully mewling, and then expires. The other one, Cork, the other one Darwesh is striking at. Darwesh hits. Does 8, 9. Was that a +2 sword that Darwesh has?
+3 Vorpal.
+3, okay. So Darwesh does 11.
Oh, he ended up with the Vorpal last time?
Yeah. No, sorry, not no. Oh, wait. Sorry.
He had a scimitar +2 or something, right?
I was talking about the paladin. Sorry.
Oh, right. Scimitar +2 is sweet, though.
Yeah.
I think it was +2.
It was. That I remember.
Well, I greatly appreciate it, James. Just the same. I mean, I'm very flattered. Thank you so much. But anyway, so yeah, Darwesh slashes that one badly, and they have now fled to the far side of the room. They are doing everything they can to try and get away. They pulling their arms up over their head. Like I said, some are trying to like animals digging in the soft soil. But of course, the far side of the cave is impeding them. And you guys have 4 rounds and 9 rounds.
Was Cork able to strike a retreating one? And I missed with holy water. I'm assuming because their AC is probably better than 7, but I may have gotten a little splash.
Well, they did have to back you, so it would be back AC.
No, he said that there was no bonus for the retreat. So
not for a missile weapon.
Yeah, just toss
And that would be for anyone.
Yeah,
So let's see. That is short over by 2 feet. So you did 2 points of damage on a splash. to one of them that was
I'm
retreating.
helping.
Yep. Better than nothing. Focus fire on one of them at a time.
They have retreated to the far side of the room. Let's roll for Cork.
Sure.
Oh wow, so that's a really high number. So we have to see. So our paladin, our relatively low-level paladin, ladies and gentlemen, has a Vorpal weapon, which I don't know if those is carried forward into later editions. So if you're not familiar with,
they were.
Okay, thank you. I figured that's fairly iconic.
But they don't work the same way, so go ahead.
Okay.
Because in AD&D, it works a little weird.
A little better, you mean?
Well, so originally, for future editions, it was you get a crit and then you decapitate the thing. Right, so you didn't have to go back and check what number or anything like that. It was just crit equals decapitation.
Okay, so he steps forward and just like one hand on his hip, snaps out with a Vorpal sword. You just hear this sort of keening hum, and the wight takes 2 steps forward and then falls to the floor, headless.
It doesn't go snicker snack.
I was gonna say snicker snack.
It does.
You beat me to it, bastard.
The White's head goes tumbling back.
A descending cut mine horn
sound, but that works too. Snicker snack. Thump.
So if they're retreated, let us use missile weapons to destroy them at a distance.
So there are 9. You have 4 rounds for the body of 6 of them. And again, they are retreated across the room. So if you're gonna throw missile weapons, fire, what have you, now is the time to do it.
I'm casting Bless.
You're casting Bless. Oh, okay. Those of you with missile weapons may do so.
I'm going to throw the holy water I've got. So,
yep.
That was a big miss.
Okay.
I probably just took it out and went, whoops. It was a
Oh, they're cowering in a group. Come on.
It was slippery. I fumbled it.
They are ducking and covering.
You pulled it out by its fork and it went.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's check the scatter. So a D8 indicates direction. For those of you following along at home in your Dungeon Master's Guide, we are looking at page 64. So 7. 7 is long left, and then we roll D6 for range because even long can still land within an acceptable amount. And wouldn't you know, you get a splash for 2. Darawesh will retrieve a flask of oil, throwing it. And Darawesh lands a direct hit on one of them, which is now screaming and on fire, suffering 9 points of damage and will automatically suffer a D6 damage in the next round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bless goes off. You all feel uplifted by the Holy Ghost. That was one round. Is Turgo throwing something or firing something?
Yeah, I had my swords out. My intent was to drop them and pull out some oil. I can go next round, whatever, but I'm gonna light them up.
I mean, yeah, you can absolutely, basically at the end of the round, since you're not under pressure of melee, you can go ahead and throw it. I have reason to feel very generous. There, Doomsword. Go ahead and take advantage of my largesse.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's see how this does. Oh boy, that'd be a 2.
Okay.
And it was that day Turgo set his own pants on fire.
As long as it's not me and it's one of you guys, I'll be fine.
Okay, let's check the splash radius of that of lit oil.
10 feet, I think.
Oil alight, diameter of 3 feet. I rolled a 3. It landed to the thing's right, so you actually got it. Roll 1d6 and divide by 2.
Oh, brilliant.
So you did catch one on fire.
Thank the gods.
You guys are making me do bookkeeping. Not one.
2.
Either kill them or miss them. Okay, and at the end of this round, we'll go ahead and roll that d6 for that one that got set on fire by Darawesh. Oh, the white is toast. Screaming, it falls to the ground and rises no more. You have 3 rounds left to treat with the whites. Now, are you guys focusing just on the whites that you that you
From the original.
The ones we turned first.
Thank you. Senior moment from the original turning.
Yes.
I would imagine.
I held back a flask of oil for myself for seeing this situation. Also because I don't trust your follower that much. And so I'm going to go ahead and throw that this turn.
I have 2 left. I'll throw one of them.
Well, when your follower does something like, forget this, and he draws his sword and goes to go charge the whites, it's, yeah.
Okay. By the way, normally, folks, I mean, I tend to leave the super chats up for this. I get a notification here in StreamYard that, and it basically it takes from YouTube, because YouTube will flag a super chat for a set amount of time. The larger the super chat, the longer it stays flagged. I left James's incredibly generous super chat up. He said I could go ahead and remove it, so that's the only reason I took it down. I didn't expire it, and I don't love the donation to the show any less. It was James's permission. I took it down.
Yo, James, you're the man.
Yeah, you are. Who'll match him? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm too busy.
I know. All right. Okay. You don't have to roll initiative, but go ahead and roll your attacks for missile weapons.
Obviously, Brother Rashawn is not good with holy water. He again misses. Sorry, Build, for making you do splash damage again.
It's okay. I've got to do splash damage for Darawesh.
If it makes you feel better, I hit.
It does. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's 2d6 damage.
Wait, oil or holy water?
Oil.
2d6 damage.
All right. How does 10 suit your fancy on the leader?
I'm excited about 10 points of damage to a white. That makes that's awesome.
That's
Fire damage.
And he will automatically take 1d6 in the next round. A holy water thrown once again. Jesus Christ! You guys,
apparently whites, are getting that suit. I had to lose 2 levels.
Here's
lost 2 levels, but we just made $200.
I'm going to guarantee income from super chats for the rest of this campaign. Here's the bad news: you guys are only fighting undead from here on out, because apparently that makes people open their wallets. Good Lord!
The second bad news is we're all dead, because evidently that's what they want.
If we keep paying him for every level he drains from me, I'm going to become one very, very salty academic.
Maybe that was $100 for each level. I don't know.
Yeah.
We got $500 to take him to 0.
It take more than that. It take 1,000 to take me to 0. The advantages of being dual class. They got to hit me twice.
Okay, that scatter that was holy water. That wasn't close enough to splash the holy water. You gave him 3 holy waters, right? Or 4? 4. Okay, so he's got 1 more. This is nuts. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Uncle Brat. Cool match, Uncle Brat.
I carry 5 flasks of oil and 4 flasks of holy water.
If you trip and fall down while you're carrying a torch, you've got even odds of maybe putting yourself out.
Pretty much.
Can make a salad.
Yep.
Okay. The rest of you guys, any further missile fire?
Yeah. I have an oil I'm ready to throw.
Throw it.
Does Cork have any missile weapons? He probably doesn't, does he?
A Cork's been throwing holy water.
Oh, okay.
Darwash has been.
Yeah.
I know Cork
Oh,
has
sorry.
2 holy water.
I got a 15 that time.
All right, everybody, look in the chat and say thank you, Doomsword. Thank you so much.
Oh, why is Doomsword donating too?
Yeah.
Doomsword, what are you doing?
Come on, I can't not.
Embarrassing me.
Okay, can you pay?
That's the point. Please? Embarrass him. See, his face will turn red there. You can kind of see it if he turns this way.
No, I'm looking at the Dungeon Master's guide from now on. Just looking right here.
What is it? What is that? It's 2d6, 1d6.
2d6 for a direct hit.
8.
Okay, yeah, that one is screaming and on fire. You will automatically do a d6 in the next round, and there's going to be a d6 coming from one that Darwash set on fire. And that one takes 5 more, and it goes down. So you guys have offed 1, 2, 3, 4 of the original 6, and a 5th one is on fire. Any more missile fire in this round? You have 2 more rounds of turn left on them.
Yep.
Or is it 1?
There is 2 more rounds of the original turn.
Which means there's 7 rounds of the secondary turn with the 5 now 4 because you guys hacked 1 down.
Yes.
He says, "Give me my levels back."
I'll I censored that.
Nice one.
You. I censored that just for you. There's a lot more I was going to say with that.
I'll match it if he'll give them to you. I don't know. I ain't loaning you no money though. I got to buy some magic arrows and stuff.
That's valid. That's valid.
Okay.
What makes me sad, what makes me genuinely salty is the amount of XP I'm going to lose. That's all.
It's horrible.
The game taketh away.
Yeah. At least I just hit level 5, but
yeah, like if you were that close to level 6.
I'm actually, what's sad is I'm almost positive I am.
Oh,
that's why I'm literally I was hundreds of XP away.
Ooh.
Yeah, you guys, it's Juxtaposed Joker. They are amazing with the donations. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, guys, thank you. If this comes in, which I don't, so I don't understand how YouTube's payout cycle goes completely. I don't know if this will come in March or if this will come in April. If it comes in for March, it means I'll get to spend this at GaryCon. This will be GaryCon funds. If it comes in April, it will be for other things, but it is appreciated. Look, I just want to pump the brakes for a second because you guys are throwing credit cards at me here. You're making it rain. All right. You're making it rain.
We love you, Bill.
I really appreciate it. I love you guys too.
Love you, Bill.
It was definitely in quotes. I mean, thank you.
That's why he turned off his camera.
Oh, no,
I had to.
I was speaking for myself there.
But no, I that's entirely up to you guys, and I don't, so someone was getting a little irked about this. Goes way back when I was kidding the players in the audience about super chat me to drop a trap on the players. They went into a room that had a piercer on the ceiling. I said, "Oh, look, somebody super chatted $10. Well, there's a piercer that drops from the ceiling." And then somebody else in the chat was like, oh, you shouldn't do that. That completely breaks the verisimilitude of the game. Which, if that had been the case, I would agree. But I don't. Yeah, I don't. I don't do that. Okay, this is not like a slot machine.
This
So
is a teaching exercise online. What is verisimilitude?
the truthfulness of something, the genuineness of it, the reality of it.
I have a master's in English and history, Bill. That wasn't the question.
Oh,
Well, all I know is that Piercer hit Turgo in the right shoulder back in, August 22nd or something like that. And I'll remember it for the rest of my life.
not that you're counting.
No, I don't pay any attention to this. It's not my life.
If one of you guys DMs a game where I'm playing, right?
I'll run Morkborg for you any day, Bill.
I know, man. I know. All right. So back to the game. You guys,
With our second round of missile fire, did the lead white take burn damage at the end of the round?
yes, he did. He roll a d6. He takes a d6.
And that's a total of 6.
And you did 10 before?
I did 10 before. That oil put in work.
All right.
That oil put in work.
That I tell you, for him, that was the worst set of it. He's still alive. He's still just kind of dragging himself across the floor to try and get against the wall, but he's not doing well.
Somebody pin that thing to the floor.
So there's 3 of the 9 round left, and 3. So there's a total of 6 whites left. 3 of them will be turned for one more round after this one. Are you guys all throwing missiles?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got one more, and whoever I direct hitted will take 1d6, right?
Yes.
Question, Bill.
Yes.
Actually, 2. One, I have a bottle of cast-proof whiskey. Can I chuck that at one of them and set them on fire?
Yes. I will lower its splash damage, or I will lower its splash radius. But yes. So if you miss, unless it's a close miss, you're not going to get any on him. But
that's
if you
fine. Second question.
Mm-hmm.
I have a potion of healing. Can I chuck that at it too?
No, you can't damage an undead by healing it. He's not a nilbog. Sorry.
I was hoping. That works in later editions. That works.
We've had one throw, yes, but what about second throws?
Yes, indeed. It does. It's the whole healing magic hurts undead thing.
It's not.
So Brother Ishan, I rolled yet again a very low roll. Yet again, what's the splash damage?
I'm never giving you oil.
No. Brother Ishan has determined that holy water does not work, so he's never going to use it again. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, I wonder why.
The problem.
You got to consider the source.
Yeah, Outlier gave it to me. This is not working.
Like I say, long over, so it smashes against the wall behind it. However, the distance is 6 feet, so I'm going to say it smashes high up on the wall, and it really there's not enough to sprinkle onto it to kill it.
If it wasn't for splash damage, I would have done 0 damage this entire combat so far.
Yep. Start loading that crossbow.
I am.
Never gonna give you oil. Never gonna fight the monsters and desert you. Okay. Question, Mr. Monk, do you have silver bolts for your crossbow?
Oh, you bastard! No.
They are black. Does that matter?
No.
I'll still shoot them to make me feel better, I guess.
No silver bolts, and you got called useless in like your second session.
Beautiful grouping on every crossbow bolt that you're firing into these whites that are against the wall.
Yep.
It like your sensei would have said he was proud of you.
Yeah.
And that's why I haven't been using arrows against these guys, because I don't have any silvered arrows. I have regular arrows, but not silvered arrows.
All right. So go ahead and this is the last round for Group 3. So you guys roll your attack, your thrown attacks. This is the last burning oil from Darawesh. Oof.
Okay. That is a +2. Okay. I'm going as a fighter 4, which sucks. Okay, AC 5?
Yes, AC 5 will hit.
Okay. Am I still rolling 2d6?
Yes, it's
Okay.
oil, right?
Well,
it's the whiskey, but yeah, 2d6.
Okay. 8. 5 and 3 is 8.
Okay. It burns it, does not kill it. Turgo.
Yeah, AC 10.
That will miss. Let's see a splash.
There's a 1d6 that happens to somebody, right? Unless you already accounted for that from the last direct hit.
Oh yeah, so roll that d6.
That's a 4.
Okay, that one is still kind of wiggling disgustingly on the floor. So your AC 10 missed. Let's check a splash. It is definitely cold. It is definitely close enough, but let's see. Okay, roll a d3.
1.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you splash him with you splash him with a point of damage. All right, that ends the round. They are now just hopping mad, the remaining 3, and they are turning on you now. They're going to lunge back across the cave at you.
Can Outlier return?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Absolutely. So,
Right.
declarations. Brother Ishan, what is Brother Ishan doing?
Loading his crossbow because he doesn't know that it's not going to be useful.
Okay. Outlier is turning. Turgo, what are you doing?
Readying my normal melee weapons.
Okay. Darawesh is ready to receive an attack, as is Cork. Let's go ahead and roll initiative, and go ahead and roll initiative for us, please, there, Doom Sword.
One.
And that's when we die.
Drain. So
If I
there's
get hit, my chance for turning undead goes further down. So
Yeah.
so that is a miss on Outlier. Turgo, you are missed. And Mark, just because you're the person who's here, Ishan, you are missed.
Really? That's good.
Thank God. And you were just the person who was here.
It was like,
You know, you thought they looked horrible when they were all pale-skinned and hollow eyes and stoop-shouldered and wiry hair. Now that they've had the hair and most of their burial shawls and a good portion of their skin burned off, they're worse. So,
who would have thought?
yeah. Kanek, that is correct. You guys did make me stop talking for, what was it, like 2 minutes with the surprise announcement. Okay. Roll your turn, Chance.
That is a 16 for a total of 8 undead.
So all 3 of them.
And for a grand total of 6 rounds.
Okay.
Well, in theory, I could return the ones that are already turning. But
all right.
Stack it.
So if you turn them and they went that way, then you return them, they come back.
I think they just, as opposed to running this way, they now run that way.
They just separate.
They're not cowering in the opposite wall, they're cowering in the corners.
Between Darwesh and Cork, they hack one of the retreating ones down. So that's 2 retreating ones who have taken a considerable amount of damage from holy water and burning substances already. If you guys want to counterattack.
Is there, does that one that I hit with my whiskey, does that one get burning damage as well? I have not rolled that.
Yes, roll your d6 burning damage.
4.
To the burning hole. For all you split-second fans out there.
4.
I'm sorry, how much?
4.
4. No, it's 1 to 3. No, it is I'm sorry, it's a d6. I was thinking of splash damage. I was thinking, okay, so 4. It takes 4 more. It's not looking good. Turgo, you want to counterattack? One of the 2?
Yeah. Can I just attack it with melee weapons?
Yeah, absolutely, because it's turned and it's...
Right. So that's a double 14s, which is AC 3 and AC 5.
Yeah, both of those hit. I think even with minimal damage, how badly injured this thing was, it's going to die.
I did well more than minimal. I did like 15.
Oh yeah, you carve it to pieces. It is re-dead before it hits the floor. Sometimes dead is better. So there's just the one dragging itself back across the floor. You have 5 rounds of turn remaining on. There's 4 rounds of turn remaining on the 3, and then now this one has how many? Like 8,
5 left. So yeah, 6 total. 6 total. So 5 left.
Yeah. Okay. What do you guys wish to do? I think you're out of magical, or you're out of fire and holy water. Yes.
Paladin, thief, with me, just surround and beat one down, beat one down, beat one down.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
I'm drawing sword, and even if they don't back me up here, I'm cutting one in half.
That's fine. That's fine.
Like have me mad.
You guys can roll melee attacks. You have enough rounds.
That's a 14 plus math, which will hit.
Cork hits one.
You want me to roll again?
Cork does 9 points to one of them. Darawesh
17 to 1.
Darwesh does 10 to 1. Essentially, in the 4 rounds that are remaining, a total of 4 whites left who have been turned and are trying to do nothing more than get away from you. You guys put paid 2. Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, that's a waste of 19, but oh well, that works.
Sweet. It doesn't matter. We killed him.
That's fair. And to be fair, I'm the only one that lost levels, and I was arguably probably the best one.
That's unfortunate. Yeah.
But hey. So that's going to reset my XP bar back to the max cap for level 4.
Correct.
Let me figure that out real quick.
Is there anything in this room of interest?
There is.
I believe there were some boots.
There's now a whole lot of broken ceramic and glass where all these flasks of oil and stuff.
Yeah.
I wasted my best bottle of whiskey to kill one of those.
Nah, well, you did well, Outlier. We would not have survived the battle without your expertise. and the prayers of your God.
Wow, it's only 13,000 experience for clerics to actually reach level 4. So 18 plus 13 is 21, which means I cap at
If you require my gold for assistance, assuming we can heal you,
Oh,
I
wait
will
a
do
second.
so.
Sorry. I had a basic fantasy moment, not a let me rethink that. Okay, so I get knocked back down to 17,999. Wait, actually that isn't an interesting question, DM.
Mhm.
Since I split my XP evenly between my two classes, how does that work? Because my fighter requires 18,000 and my cleric requires 13,000. So do I go cleric is now 12,999, or are they both up to 18, which is my fighter?
You're just at the bottom of the previous level.
Okay, so I would be 17,999 for one, and
Mhm.
then 12,999 for the other.
Yeah, going forward, it does make it a little jank, but it's easier on the front end to do that.
That's fine. So all right. So sorry, I was leaving off a 9 there, but you know what I meant.
Yeah, no, I completely got you. Okay, so there is more treasure in here.
Thank God.
The one that was once a woman has a silver bracelet set with gems. Darwesh, you immediately, or not, Turgo, you immediately recognize that as being a valuable piece of jewelry. The sword, which can detect gems and what kind, keens when you approach a boulder, which outlier, you think you could easily roll out of the way.
Okie dokie. That I can do.
All right. You throw your shoulder into it, and yes, it rolls away. There's a hollow there underneath it that's been scooped out of the earth. There are many sacks of coins, and the sword indicates that in one of the sacks there is gold and gems. Or rather, there are gems in one of the sacks. Sorry, there are gems in one of the sacks.
Well, we can count them all later. Let's just haul them all out.
Yeah.
Do I notice any secret compartments with my dwarven stonework?
You are sure there are no secret compartments here. In fact, between you and the sword, you located the one secret compartment that was in here.
Okay.
Is there anything on the walls around this chamber that like paintings or mosaics or writing?
No, this is a natural cavern.
I wonder what they were all doing in here.
They found a hole to crawl in.
And the boots, the one we're wearing, were nothing in particular.
They're just old leather boots. They don't seem to be magical, but I mean, you're certainly welcome to take them.
I'll take them for the hell of it.
Okay.
I can
right.
always cast detect magic, so
You
Right.
remove the skeleton's feet, and you have them. Those are the only thing of the skeleton that was that appears to have been not corroded or eaten away.
all right. Well, let's go back to Greyhawk and get my level back. Levels.
Okay, so the coins As I said, there's perhaps 20 small sacks of coins. They are pretty weighty. Are you going to have a quick glance in them?
Make sure any of them just aren't copper. Sure.
The large number of the bags do contain copper coins. However, perhaps a dozen of them contain a mix of gold and electrum.
That's fine.
And one bag that is all gold coins has a gorgeous gold crown set with gems, which you suspect that's the one the sword was telling you of.
We can schlep all that out without any difficulty.
Okay.
With my extra strength, etc., we'll be all right.
Sure.
As long as we're not surprised by anything, yes.
Well, even then, what's the worst that happens? We take a sack of coins and throw it at them.
Yeah, swing it.
Catch. Here's a 20-pound medicine ball.
Okay. His belt pouch now emptied of flasks of oil. Darawesh will fill it with copper coins. He will take a measure of copper coins. This is something like this, nice for upkeep, give to beggars, that sort of thing. Alms.
Yeah, the Brother Ishan will help carry the more lucrative bags, but he will make sure he takes one of those bags that's mostly copper as well.
Okay.
For donations to the poor.
I'll happily take whatever I can carry, so.
Okay, you encounter nothing on your way back to the central cistern.
Tie a bag to my dog.
Okay.
Ching, 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 ching. They can drag a lot. They can drag a lot.
Oh, I believe you.
Native Americans would use them to drag teepees.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just haul all that back up. We'll get an idea of a count, I guess, when we're back at the Longhouse. Anything that cost us at the way back?
No, nothing will cost you on the way back to the Longhouse.
All right, party. I think y'all should get the coinage from this, particularly, and then if you want to, and then do what you will with it. If you want to help me pay for a restoration, great. But we'll go from there.
Let us return.
Okay. So yeah, nothing will cost you on the way back to the Longhouse. Do you want to count up your coin at the Longhouse?
Or
Yeah.
Yeah, may as well.
And also, sort of out of character, probably should do detect magic on the doing detect magic on the boots.
I can just cast detect magic. Period. Yeah, and I'll just sweep my eyes over it.
Yeah.
And I'd like to. Apologies. I'd like to kind of appraise that silver bracelet set with gems and the gold crown that was with the other bag.
You suspect that now this is wholesale price or retail price.
Sure.
You may not get that. They are respectively each worth 5,000 gold pieces.
Ooh,
Nice.
Of coins, you have 1,074 gold and 2,748 electrum.
And a bag of copper coins. How much copper was in that? Because I took one.
Actually, 2 then, because my dog.
We will say that you took a total of 600 copper out. Darwest took 200, and each of you took an individual bag with 200 copper pieces in it.
Sounds good.
Which
Alrighty.
today, girls, 200 1.6 ounce copper discs would be worth a not inconsiderable amount of money at a scrap dealership. All things being
200 copper in the game. 200 copper pieces, 1 gold piece.
yes.
Yep.
which would not hold true for real life because 200. Well, a gold coin is 1.6 ounces, and 1.6 ounces of gold now is what, $3,000? So 20 pounds of copper will not net you $3,000.
Though to be fair, gold coins aren't solid gold either, and I wouldn't presume any of the coinage is solid anything, frankly.
Well,
Even
that's-
the Romans debased their coinage.
Yeah. This is a mighty haul. Are we planning on going back to Greyhawk?
Yep.
Indeed.
I need to visit my brothers and see if I can get a discount for my community service.
Okay. Well, let's see if that huge ancient red dragon meets you along the way and demands a toll. I am Smog.
I pay with my friends.
Like, what's the first thing you do? I cast silence on him. Why? No spells for you, sir.
You know, I have the 11 Labs out, like the lowest level accounts that's paid for. It's like $2 a month or something on 11 Labs. I really should put Richard Boone's dialogue from The Hobbit through the voice synthesizer and then just use that for Red Dragon dialogue.
It is good. Boone is like, he is my favorite. I think honestly my favorite. Cumberbatch did it. He tried. He really did, and it was a good performance. But I like Boone's better.
Oh yeah, just the arrogance, just the sneering sarcasm, too thick to drip from Richard Boone was perfect. It's one of those people who was gone too soon. Okay. So it is a cold gray ride home, or towards the towards the last chance inn, I should say. Let's see, am I okay? That's where I need to be. Oh, there we go. You see a giant stag along your way. Unless you're willing to stop and chase it and kill it, you may continue on. And nothing else until you arrive at the last chance inn at the midpoint between Castle Greyhawk and the city of Greyhawk. Do you wish to stop?
Nah.
Okay,
All right.
let's keep going.
May as well.
And dropped my die. Excuse me, everyone. And last but not least. Oh. Okay, so very near the city of Greyhawk, as you're entering the farmlands and such, you do pass a patrol on the road. They greet you. They ask you what your business is, traveling this late at night. Where does your journey take you, sirs?
I shall ask you the same. What is your business?
We're the muster soldiery of the city of Greyhawk, sir. We patrol these roads to make sure that ruffians and bandits and brigands do not accost the good folk traveling through these lands.
As do we.
If ye be an enemy of the free city, then stand and deliver. Otherwise,
We are the protectors of the free city.
I'm going to hold up the severed head of a white.
okay.
And I'm going to make it talk like a sock puppet.
Shove your hand up in the windpipe. Blah, 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 blah. Get some rest. Sleep for the next 3 days. You have my permission. Okay. They smile grimly at your pantomime and say, sort of nod towards Turgo and teach your men to respect the to respect the actual protectors of the city of Greyhawk, and have a good evening, sir. And they ride on.
Bye.
And you arrive at the night postern gate on the southern edge of the city of Greyhawk.
Excellent.
And let's pay those guard fees in copper coins.
They often get paid in copper coins. They accept your money because it spends just the same.
What's the door fee? What's the door fee at Greyhawk City again? Like a silver a head?
Oh no, it's like 10 silver a head.
10 silver
For
a head.
1 gold.
Yeah.
Okay. And then 100 for the dwarf fee.
Yeah. Dwarves cost more.
And then
Sure, certainly.
Here's 200 copper. Have fun. Go nuts.
Okay.
Kid.
Sweet.
Alrighty. They take it. They dump it into a primitive
Coinstar machine
funnel, and you watch a couple of cogs go around, and they're watching it very intently, and they turn and look at you. Farewell in the city. And one of them calls out, "Raise the postern gate!" With the ratcheting of the windlass, and up it goes, and into the gate you ride. It is cold, dark, and damp. Well, not that dark. There are lanterns along the thoroughfares as you enter the one of the side streets of the storied city of Greyhawk.
Well, that was a great adventure. I probably should find a stable to sleep in tonight.
A stable?
Well.
And why would you sleep there?
Somewhere humble.
Well, the rooms around here are humble.
I've seen you stay at the Green Dragon Inn. It seems too posh, if you will.
There are common rooms. There are common rooms. If you want to sleep with the horses, by all means, be my guest. However, there are unsavory areas, so to speak, within the Green Dragon, particularly in the lower levels and beneath.
Well, I don't want an unsavory place. I just need a humble place to sleep, to rest my head.
Passing by you towards the postern gate are 2 figures in gray robes. I don't just mean it's like gray wool. It is very specifically colored gray. It kind of shimmers in the waning moonlight as they walk by. They nod their head in greeting as they go by. Do you wish to say anything to them? Anything like that?
See you guys later.
I'm going to go ahead and head to I'm going to go ahead and head I'll head to the Temple of Blared and put my bed in there.
Alrighty. They have a cell for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. Maybe the Temple of Heronians will have a cell that I could stay in.
Oh yeah. A monk wishing to stay in a cell, absolutely. They have a very comfortable tick. Breakfast in the morning, a clean white loaf, a couple of apples. They're from harvest, so they're a little puckered, but still good and crisp, and some nice bitter ripe cheese.
So extravagant.
Oh yeah. You're like, oh, I couldn't.
No, it's too much. Gentlemen, I will see you in the morning where we could split
very well
the gains, and I'll go deposit some in the bank.
Absolutely. So yeah, and I guess in the morning I'll see about getting my levels restored. And
regarding the evening for Darwash and I, we'll We'll test our metal in the bar.
Okay. You going to the Dancing Owl Bear, the Green Dragon Inn, the Green Griffin? Where?
Oh well, we intend to stay in the Green Dragon Inn, but the Dancing Owl Bear, on the other hand, sounds pretty fantastic.
Okay. It's not so late at night yet that that they've completely shut down at the Dancing Owl Bear. There is still a fairly raucous and bawdy crowd within.
It's perfect for us.
All right. Morning comes. Do you guys basically close them down and then just kind of collapse in a flop?
That's the idea for myself and Darwish. Yes.
Yeah, and he has a true flop room. There's a room in the back where there are ropes tied across, and for like a bronze Z, you can get a clean blanket thrown over the rope, and then just lie, like hook your arms over it and lie on it. That is the original flop house. Is basically just lying across a rope pulled across a room.
Brilliant. Not that I'll sleep there, but Darwish can do whatever he wants.
Okay. Yeah. Darwish. You see Darwish in the company of a member of the fairer sex about halfway through the evening. Then you don't see him again for the rest of the evening.
Good man.
We fade to black here, folks. We don't,
We can't role play it. It's part of our backstory.
Oh, sorry. Right. Yeah, that's heavily in his backstory that he's a great amorous person. So let me go into extensive detail.
He's a bard. What do you expect?
Oh, yeah. Yes, exactly. Because that's all bards do, Anyway, so moving right along, you wake up the next morning, Darwish. Your head is pounding in the best possible way that tells you that you had some really great stout and ciders and small beers and just whatever tickles your fancy. Brother Ishan, you wake up with this huge spread. There's water that a dollop of honey has been put in to dissolve. A half of a clean white loaf, the aforementioned apples, and a wedge of bitter cheese. I mean, you're like, who's joining me for this?
This is too much. I humbly take some.
Okay. And it is appropriate for your palate. To the Church of Blared, then. Outlier, you are sleeping in the cell in the Church of Blared. Business may be conducted in the morning after prayers.
Yep.
So you have ample time and say, yes, Brother Outlier, what brings you back?
I'm going to take said sock puppet of a white head and toss it in their lap.
Well, they're disgusted by it.
Yep.
Do you mean this by way of insult, brother?
No, I mean this by way of I need repairs.
I see. Well, judging by this fetish, and he picks it up and sets it on the floor and brushes
There were
his
14 of them.
Aha. Well, there were 11, but
Okay.
tell him 14.
I stand by that number.
You stand by
10, 11, 12, whatever.
Swirling mass of whites. You didn't stop to count. I get it. Well, the church still owes you a debt. Yes, indeed. You have served well for the church. Is it then a restoration? Did it drain away some of your vital essences.
They touched me twice. Also, not everything comes off with Ajax.
Kind of strokes his beard and says, I'm not sure what a stone lifting wedge has to do with this, but indeed it cannot stand proof against the vile powers of a wight. No.
Fun fact for you, Ajax is my favorite character from the Iliad.
Excellent.
And where did they touch you, brother?
This is the church. This is the church.
So with a with the incorporation of a restoration scroll that they have, the spell may be cast upon you. Let's see.
I don't have a cleric high enough level to cast restoration?
It costs them life.
That's fair. That's fair.
It will age them.
Go find an elf. Damn humans, what's a year?
Okay, so the restoration spell, you are bid to dress in simple holy vestments. This is a bit of a ritual, you know. It's 3 full minutes to cast. They have, people are arranged at the stations of the holy symbol around you, and blue-white candles are lit, and the set before the the great rose window, so the morning sun is shining on you, and they pray their liturgies and whatnot. You no saving throw allowed or needed, but the scroll is read, and with the mighty read, you are restored. You are exactly at the experience you needed to be at your previous levels.
So I would go, yeah, okay. So in that instance, would it put me 1 point below 4 or 1 point below 5?
What was your previous level?
I was originally 5th level, so I would be okay. So I would go back.
It doesn't restore XP; it restores levels, so it takes you to just exactly what you would need to be that level again, and no more.
Correct. So I'd be at 1301 and then like 1901.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, or 1801. Yeah. Okay.
I know you will earn this, my brother, for indeed you have earned the church's grace and thanks that we would expend such a mighty miracle upon you.
Well, without that miracle, I can't sadly continue to do my work.
You do God's work, and for that,
Okie dokie. Well, I guess I will spend the majority of. I have a remove disease ready if they have anybody that wants it.
any work you wish to do in the church is gladly accepted, from polishing the fittings of the church, of which there are many, all the way up to whatever minor magical miracles you want to bestow onto people.
If they tell a dwarf to polish their knob, I will put my dwarven fist through their face.
Candelabras, it's sconces,
Don't tell the dwarf to polish the shiny things. That's an insult.
No.
My 6-year-old kid would do that. No, I will cast remove cure disease on someone and then go see my friends.
Okay. They have no need for a cure disease spell to be cast at this moment.
Okay. Send a runner if you need it.
Of course, brother. So mote it be. Go forward in iron and strength. That's the salute of the cleric of Blair. It is just a raised fist, as if you were holding a hammer to slam it down on a forge or upon the head of an unbeliever. All right. You catch up with, you go to the Green Dragon Inn.
Mm-hmm. It's rare to catch them.
Did you return to the Green Dragon Inn?
Yeah, I assume at some point, got wasted and dragged my way over there. That's where I stay.
Cork is there. Darwesh arrives around the midday meal. Brother Ishan, what are you doing in particular in special?
In the morning, I provide some beggars along the way coin as I distribute the 200 coppers to people as I go, and I make my way eventually to the Green Dragon Inn.
Okay. Yeah, you're like, coin for you, coin for you, coin. Didn't I just see your brother a block down?
Yeah. If I notice, I'm like, no. Go to the end of the line. Here we go. Gently tell them, no.
Right. Well, there's not that many beggars that ask for your coin, but you arrive back at the Green Dragon Inn, and it is from there that you lads will plan your next adventure for next week when we return to the world of Greyhawk and this campaign. I first of all, I'd like to thank my incredible group of players here, guys. It's always fun to hang out with you. Thank you all very, very much for being here this evening. I'd like to thank the audience, you folks who've hung on. I mean, I get pretty good numbers these days. It used to be like, we get 9 watching the preamble stream and then 5 sticking around for the game. And now it's like a consistent 30. And that makes me happy. That makes me feel we have a good sized classroom full of people watching the D&D game. And I really appreciate that a lot.
It makes me nervous.
Don't let it make you nervous.
It doesn't really.
That's you wouldn't want my job then.
Yeah, I had all that crap.
Ricky, Doomsword, Uncle Brat, James Hayes. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart. I mean, if those funds don't come in before the trip to Gary Con, they will come after that, and I guarantee you they will be very useful when they arrive. So God bless you all. Thank you unreservedly. I greatly appreciate it, and I kid around about so you got a super chat me to no one need ever super chat, but I do appreciate it. If you want to support the show with less financially devastating means, of course you can support us on Patreon and Subscribe or direct through PayPal, or even just buy me a coffee if you want to throw me a little deposit there at buymecoffee.com/bsylvie. And we will be back tomorrow night with now nominally tomorrow night would be, of course, where Kyle would be playing some Classic Traveler. Kyle has had a family matter happen that is it's a personal thing that's taken him away and will take him away for a few weeks yet. So we'll find something fun to do tomorrow night. I promise you all that. What it'll be, we don't know. Good night to you, Vince Snetterton. But until then, everyone, of course, be good to each other. I love you all, and I'm going to see you next time on the show. tomorrow night. So absolutely take care, and good night.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Naked as a toad all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.